The jobs of a steward are many. At various times, you will be called upon to exercise leadership, provide education and information, solve problems, and organize and unionize the workforce. One of your primary responsibilities, though, is handling grievances. Your approach to grievance handling will depend upon the problem, the persons involved, the contract, the bargaining relationship between the employer and the union, and your relationship with the supervisor. Although grievance handling is more of an art than a science, you will find a systematic approach can improve your effectiveness. This approach means investigating the problem before proceeding with the grievance and preparing before any meeting with management about the grievance. You are about to see 3 scenarios that illustrate some of the right ways and some of the wrong ways to handle a grievance. In our first scene, the worker is charged with an operator error and receives a week's suspension. She brings the problem to a steward. Let's see how the steward handles it.
Hey, what's up?
Well, you heard about my 5-day suspension.
Yeah, I heard about that. What'd you screw up this time?
I didn't screw up anything. The tank overflowed. There was already a report putting in about the faulty gauge on there.
Well, this ain't your first time you screwed up now, you know.
But this is not my screw up. I want to know what the union's going to do about it. I've been in this union for 20 years, paying union dues for 20 years. I want to know what you're going to do.
I called the rep the other day.
Did you file a grievance yet?
Not yet. I'm looking.
It's my 2nd-day suspension. What do you mean, not yet?
Well, listen.
Look, no, you listen.
Diane, don't worry about it.
We'll
take care of it.
This is my
Calm
5
down,
days
relax.
pay. No, I'm not going to calm down until I get my money.
Okay, but listen.
No, listen.
We're going to take us right to arbitration. I'm going to get you all your money back. This union's going to get your money back for you. You're not going to lose nothing.
So you're just going to bystep all the steps. You're going to go right to
We're
arbitration.
going right there. We're going to get you all your money. We're going to get your record cleaned up. Don't worry about it. It's like a vacation. You're going to get your money back. Don't worry about it. Just relax, all right?
Very good.
Okay?
All right.
No problem now. Relax.
How effectively did the steward handle the problem? What could he have done differently? Stop tape now for discussion. The steward has 2 goals in this situation. First, to make sure that the worker knows that the union cares about her and her problems. And second, to begin investigating the problem by obtaining as much information from the worker as possible. This will require using the principles of active listening and the 6 W's of grievance investigation. Our next scene involves a new steward. He is aggressive and tries to compensate for the old steward who had the reputation of being too close to the company. The worker was ordered into a vessel that had not been safety tested for harmful gases. He insisted he should not go in until it is gas tested. The supervisor threatened the worker with discipline for disobeying an order, and the worker doesn't feel this is fair. The worker is fed up with the company disobeying safety rules. He feels this incident threatens the safety of all workers in the plant. He wants the union to use this situation to improve safety for his co-workers. Problems which affect everyone in the workplace, such as health and safety issues, lend themselves to collective shop floor action, or what we call the organizing model of grievance handling. As you will see, the steward and 2 workers were pursuing this approach before the supervisor arrives.
So, what happened, Bob? You were there.
Well, you know how it always does, Tim. They asked Eric to go into the tank. They didn't safe it out. They didn't sniff it. They didn't do anything. Steal a job before, they want the job completed before safety.
It's a big deal, Tim. It's not just one person. It's the whole refinery. It's everybody's life at stake here.
So what we got to do is we got to sit down, we'll draw a petition up, get it out in the yard so everybody understands what's going on.
I think everybody in the yard needs to know about this.
Okay, and then also we can go back and we can call OSHA. We can maybe we'll probably have a press release. I mean, they're putting the community in danger and everything else. We can't have our people subject to this.
Nobody in the refinery should have to go into a tank that hasn't been sniffed and made safe. It just doesn't make sense. Somebody's going to get killed.
I agree with you. So let's get Brooks in here.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
Timmy, Eric, Bob, how you doing? What we have here is a man that's refused to go into a tank.
I didn't refuse. I go in after they sniff it. I did.
And
You put him in an unsafe condition. The tank was not gas tested.
quite the contrary. The tests,
It was not
the
gas
tests
tested.
were done
I
on the
talked to
last
Eric and I
shift.
talked to Bob, and it was not gas tested.
My
All right?
people have
Mr.
assured
Brooks,
me
Mr.
that
Brooks,
that
every
tank
time
was
we have a
tested
dealings
on the
with you,
last shift.
every time we have dealings with you, Mr. Brooks, it's always profit first and safety second.
I
You're not
disagree.
putting our
I
people in this
disagree.
condition.
I've
I'm telling
had
you right
enough
now,
of
if
this
I got
ranting
to,
and
I'll
raving.
call OSHA right now, and then I'll pull these
Then
people out of this
you will have to
refinery.
call OSHA. But
How effectively did the steward handle the problem? What could he have done differently? Stop tape now for discussion.
Doesn't make sense. Somebody-
In this situation, the steward is correct. The company is violating the contract by first ordering the worker into an unsafe situation and second, threatening the worker with discipline. The company's responsibility is to provide a safe working environment, but the steward overreacts and is ineffective. Remember, the steward's job is to handle the situation in a way that solves the problem and, if possible, maintains a good working relationship with the supervisor. In our next scene, there is a problem with who should have been assigned overtime the day before. One of the senior workers believes she should have worked the overtime and brings the problem to the local's president.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Marion.
The president, you're just who I've been looking for. I have a big problem that I have to have handled.
What's the matter?
It's an overtime bypass. The supervisor keeps playing favorites. I have high senior, low hours, and he continuously ignores me and bypasses me.
Let me ask you something, Marion. As much as I would like to help you at this point, have you talked to the shop steward?
I haven't been able to find her. I haven't been able to locate her.
I just came by the break area about 5 minutes ago, and I believe I saw Connie sitting in there. And I'd appreciate if you go down and talk to Connie first. If she can't help you, we'll be more than glad to help you. You know that.
Okay, I'm going to go down the break area and find her. I'll let you know if I don't. Thanks a lot.
Let us know.
Okay.
The worker then finds the steward in the break room and discusses her complaint.
Hi, Connie. I was down to see the president and about a problem I have, and he told me to find you in the break area.
Well, hi, it's nice to see you, Marion. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm just sitting here working on another grievance, trying to get it ready, and I just got back off of sick leave. I broke my arm, but I'm doing much better now.
That's good, that's good.
So tell me, what's your problem?
Well, we have overtime in our department at the moment, and I was up for the overtime last night. I am high senior in the department. I had low hours, and I was completely bypassed. I was in the ladies' room at the time, and our new supervisor, Mike Smith, just asked all the people that were standing around, I guess by the line, to work. And when I came out, I was told there was overtime tonight, and I said, oh, good, I'll be working. So I went to Mike, and I explained to him that I was high senior, low hours, and he said to me, well, you were not available, so I just bypassed you. I said, look, we have a union contract, and you have to abide by that. But he just seemed to ignore me. He walked away.
Who is this guy? I don't think I've
He's a new
met him.
supervisor, and I believe this is the first time he's ever worked for a union organization.
Okay. Okay, just so I have all the facts straight, I want to document it on this
Certainly.
sheet so that we can
Certainly.
use this as our
Okay,
record for our
fine.
investigation. But, so you were the most senior qualified, and you had the low hours for the shift. You were available and were going to take the overtime?
Correct.
Okay. Who actually worked the overtime then?
2 other workers in the department,
What were their names?
Melinda Jones and Catherine Bazell.
Okay, I think I have all the information that I need, and what I will do is interview the supervisor and request the records from him, the overtime sheets and your time cards in the seniority list, and verify all the facts, and then I'll get back with you. What time do you get off today?
4:30 tonight.
4:30? Okay, well, I'll get back to you before the end of the shift.
Okay, well, thank you, Connie. I'd appreciate it. And I'll stop back at the union office and tell Bob I did run into you,
Okay,
and everything's being taken care of.
all right,
Okay,
good.
thanks a lot.
Stop tape now for discussion.
just right in front of me.
Before filing a grievance, the steward needs to get the supervisor's side of the story
in.
and request key records.
Come in. Yeah, just a second, please. Hi, can you give me a minute?
Sure.
All right, I'll get back to you on that. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry.
Hi, Mike. My name's Connie Malloy. I'm the shop steward in Department A.
Hi, Connie. You know, it's nice to finally meet you after all this time. I understand you had a problem with your arm.
Yeah, minor accident over vacation, but it's doing much better now.
That's good. That's good. So what do you need to see me about today?
Well, I'm investigating a possible overtime bypass that occurred on second shift last night.
Mm-hmm.
So were you the supervisor involved in that?
Yes, I was.
And you made the assignment?
Yes, I did.
What criteria did you use to make the assignment?
Actually, Connie, I did have a little bit of a problem with the overtime last night. I believe Marion was the next person up for overtime, but I couldn't locate her. It was at the end of the shift, and we're having production rushes, and I've got to get these assignments made.
Did you have anyone check the ladies' restroom?
No, I didn't. I didn't check the ladies' restroom, but Marion is missing quite often at the end of the shift, and I really don't have time. We're in a real tight production schedule. I've got to get the people I need.
So basically, you're telling me because she wasn't right on the line then that that was
Well,
the reason you
kinda.
bypassed her, passed her?
I really can't run around for 25 to 30 minutes and look for employees. I don't have the time.
There are a couple things that I'm going to need from you. Do you have the log sheet that you used to assign the overtime last night?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Connie, I have to do tonight's assignment. I have the overtime record here somewhere. Here it is.
Can I get a copy of this?
Yeah, I'll get a copy of that to you.
I'm also going to need the time cards for all of the people involved. Who did you assign to work the overtime then?
I believe Catherine and Melinda worked last night.
Now, I'll need time cards for all three of
All right.
those.
I really am not sure if I can get you the time cards, Connie.
Why is that?
They're really difficult to come by. At the end of the day, they went up to personnel records, and I have no idea how long it might take to get time cards.
Well, how about if I just stop back in at the end of the day? Surely they'll be here by then.
Okay, I'll make an effort, but I'm not really sure I can get those time cards for you.
Okay, well, I'll just stop in about 4 o'clock. Will that work?
Okay, we'll try for 4.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, and I'll be back in touch with you concerning this grievance.
Okay, it was nice to meet you.
Stop tape now for discussion. The steward now meets with the worker in the union office and discusses her findings. She then lays out what they will do next.
Come on in.
Hi, Connie. You asked me to come over?
Yes, hi, Marion.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you today?
Fine.
I just wanted to get back with you as to where your complaint stands, and I've done a thorough investigation of the complaint. I talked with your supervisor and interviewed him and got the appropriate records, and all of it show that you clearly have a grievance. The contract's very clear on that the most senior qualified with the low hours is the one that shall get the overtime. So I met with him, and basically, you know, him being a new supervisor, he kept using the excuse that he couldn't find you and that you had been gone for about 30 minutes. And we both know that that's not correct, and so be prepared for that tomorrow. And I've got a meeting set up with him for 8 o'clock in the morning, and kind of let me do the talking unless he asks you a question directly, and then, of course, you need to answer him. But the reason for that is sometimes your personalities will get in the way of getting a resolution done. So if you kind of let me handle it, you know, I'll try to keep us on track so nobody loses their temper and try to get a solution out of him. But if we can't, you know, then we'll have to file the grievance formally, and we'll do that by the end of the day tomorrow if we can't get him to agree to pay you. So if you'd meet me here about 8 o'clock in the morning, then we'll go over and see him. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I don't. I think you've done it very well. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking care of it so quickly.
Well, you're welcome, and
Okay.
I'll see you in the morning.
Okay, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's review what the steward has done to this point. She has interviewed the people who have information about the case, kept detailed notes, obtained copies of relevant documents and records, reviewed her notes, and discussed the first meeting with the worker. Based on the results of her investigation, the steward decides to grieve the matter and schedules the first step meeting with the supervisor. She is prepared to outline her presentation and can anticipate management's arguments. Lastly, she explains to the worker what to expect in the meeting and what her role will be. The steward and the worker are now ready for the first step, oral presentation of the grievance. They meet with the supervisor in his office. Let's see what happens.
Come on in.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Connie.
Hello.
Hi, Marion. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
We're here today to talk about the overtime bypass that occurred with Marion a couple days ago. And we'd really like to get this resolved at this level. It's a fairly straightforward, simple issue. And I think, with your being new, that maybe, you weren't aware of what our normal procedures are around here. But it's not abnormal, to go have someone get someone out of the restroom to ask them about overtime. We feel Marion should be paid 8 hours at time and a half. And the contract language is really clear on this issue. In Article 10, Section 2A, it says overtime will be assigned to the most senior qualified employee, and that overtime will be equalized among all employees. So it's clear from your records that Marion was qualified for the overtime. She's the most senior employee. She had the low hours, and that she should have gotten the overtime. So, we'd like to try to clear this up and not have to take it any further. And, we'd like you to pay Marion 8 hours at time and a half.
Well, as I told you the last time we met, Marion was missing for quite some time that afternoon at the end of the shift. And Marion, there are several times that I've had to look for you at the end of the shift. And as I told you, we're really in a rush with this stuff. I have to get people for overtime at the last minute, and I can't look for employees for 30 minutes. I can't look for every employee.
Did you try to page her on the pager?
No, we didn't page her.
Well, if you had used the pager, I'm sure you would have gotten a hold of her within the time period that you needed to notify her. And that's the normal procedure when you're looking for someone. We don't expect you to walk all over the plant looking for them, but you can page the person, and if they don't get back to you in a timely manner, then I could understand it.
Connie, I can't go looking for every employee, and I can't page every employee. I've got a production line to run, and I've got about 30 minutes to get this overtime filled at the end of the day. And it's just impossible for me to go look for everyone.
Well, again, the contract language is real clear on this issue, that you have to offer it to the most senior qualified available employee. And that was Marion that night. She was the most senior qualified available employee. So, you violate the agreement by not making an attempt to ask her for the overtime.
So, Marion, where were you for 30 minutes the other day?
As always, Mike, you're incorrect. I was gone 5 to 7 minutes because that's all you're allowed when you take a relief.
Well, Marion, I think you were gone a little bit too long. I'm sorry, Connie. I can't deal with this. I don't really think that I violated anything. I need to get my people.
It doesn't look like we're going to be able to resolve this, and that's unfortunate. I hope to get off on a better note with you since you're new here, but you leave us no choice but to file a formal written grievance at this point.
I'm real sorry to hear that, but if the same situation occurs in the future, I would be forced to do the same thing, and I probably will.
Well, I can see we're not going anywhere, so you leave us no choice. I'll have a grievance on your desk by the end of the day.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. We're not getting off to a real good start, but if that's the way it is, I guess that's the way it's going to be.
That's the way it is. Now and not have to take it.
As you can see, handling a grievance properly is a real challenge.
I haven't had a chance to
In the case you just observed, what did the steward do right in handling this grievance? Here are some questions to consider. Was the steward prepared? Did the steward take and keep control of the meeting? What was the tone of the meeting? Did the steward state the union's case clearly? Were the steward's arguments effective? Did the steward control the grievant? Did the steward stick to the point, or was she sidetracked? Did the steward respond to management's arguments effectively? What techniques of persuasion or settlement did the steward use? Do you think the steward handled the meeting effectively? The test of whether a steward handles a grievance effectively is not always whether it is resolved to the union's satisfaction at the first step meeting. Sometimes the grievance is taken through all steps before it is resolved. Understanding and using the principles presented in this training session will help you become a more effective advocate for your co-workers. And that's what the grievance process is all about. Stop tape now for discussion.